What is your favorite Andre 3000 verse?
The one, never mind.
It's Andre's birthday. We're gonna be nice today.
Favorite verse?
Yeah.
Those two verses on Babylon, on ATL.
People love Babylon.
Yeah,
People
special.
love Babylon.
That was like his coming out party as an in-depth MC.
You know, for me, it was always and always will be thought process from Soul Food.
Okay.
I remember that being because they were coming off of Southern Playalistic, and then he jumps on this, and it's like, whoa, these guys are taking it somewhere else. Like, kind of opened the door for that Turban, ATL, and Dre we were about to see. But I don't know if that is my favorite verse. I think as time has gone on,
Right.
I think that verse holds a special place.
Mm-hmm.
But do you think that his verse on the Kumara, the first verse, could possibly be his best verse?
Why? Because like when people say that, I love that verse, and it is some of his best stuff. You know, I love like need some words, like need some hope, like the words maybe, if, or probably.
More than a hobby when my turntables get wobbly, they don't fall.
No. That's especially especially poetic. But I don't know, like that. Isn't he doing the same thing on Babylon? I came into this world high as a bird from secondhand cocaine powder. I know it sounds absurd. I never tooted, but it's in my veins. While the rest of the country bungees off bridges without no snapback, and bitches say they need that to shake their panties in deep ass clubs. They go the other route, turn each other out, burn each other out. Where a bona fide nigga like me can't even get a back rub these days. Is that deep on their part? But let me show. Hold on, what he say? Let me slow it down because they shut you down when you speak from your heart. Now that's hard.
While we ranting and raving about gats.
Nigga, they made them gats. They got some shit to blow out our back. They stay at. Isn't that the same thing that he's doing on Equipment though, like poetically and stylistically? So he's been doing that. That's what I'm saying. Babylon is the come out of that.
Huh. Okay, yeah. I guess we have to break this down a couple of ways with him. What do you think his best verse is on Southern Playalistic?
Hold on. It's so much easier to do it with him than Jadakiss because Jadakiss has gone to work so much.
Yeah, Jadakiss has had so many moments.
Like when you said what's Jadakiss's best verse, like my brain started to overload. I'm like, which verse from which year?
Yeah.
It's like I need to go write down 50 or 60 verses and pick from them. Like, this is much easier.
Nas the GOAT says, I'm going to get these super chats out the way. I know he's still talking basketball. It says, Steph took a backseat to KD and let KD shine. Steph is an unselfish player. KD wanted to play with the Warriors and Steph because of the system. I would agree with all those things. Yes. I don't know about taking the backseat per se. But he was going to take that anyway. It wasn't like you were going to fight for that back seat. I mean, that front seat.
If you were watching Russell Westbrook, if you were the best pure scorer of all time and you were watching Russell Westbrook take more shots than you, turn the ball over 5 times a game, and you were literally watching these guys move the ball around to the point that they have over 3 guys averaging 20 points, and you can't even get 20 shots a game when you're playing with a guy who can't shoot, you're going to want to go play with them. He's looking like, man, I can go get 25, 30 and win a championship easy with these guys. Easy with these guys.
LP says the Cavs were the super team in 16. Love, Kyrie, and LeBron were top 5 picks in their draft. Shump and JR were starters for the Knicks. All the Dubs were drafted. Now, I mean, if you want to talk about how the team was put together and all of that, I will give the Dubs props for that. I was watching that whole team get formulated. And they made each other all-stars.
No, the way that those players' careers are all unfolding separate of LeBron, that's looking more like peak LeBron than a great team to me, though. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm giving him more credit for what he was able to do with Kyrie than I have before. Just like I'm giving KD more credit for putting up with Westbrook and making all those conference finals in that one NBA finals that he did lose to LeBron James. You got to remember, Kevin Durant was 23, just like LeBron was 23 when he lost his first finals.
Mr. Buck says Jada smokes Andre 3000. What do you think about that comment? And people
I think if Andre had a catalog that we could actually rate in relationship to Jadakiss, Andre would possibly be slightly ahead because of his versatility. But overall, I would have to give Jadakiss the nod too. But that's also because we have so much to go to, and we know him. Like we know. How about this? We know he can be great in a group. We know he can be great as a guest artist. We know he can be great solo. We know he can be great just doing a back and forth within his own group. We know that he can be great at all things. Do we know that Andrè is great outside of these four Outkast albums where they are rapping together, and which is really like 2.5 to 3 when you go back and start looking at it, and some guest appearances. That's not fair to Jada. No, that's why we keep talking about the whole work thing.
What's André's best verse on Southern Playlistic?
I think his best verse or my favorite verse. The best verse is probably that verse on Plain and True.
Okay. Yeah, we are going to talk about this verses right after we talk this Andrè stuff real quick because it ties in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, verse. Probably. Don't you think his verse on Claim and True is like his best actual like bar verse on there?
I think so.
Yeah,
because they really aren't bar heavy on there. And either that or Hootie Hoo, but that's more style. Yeah,
that's the stylistic side of him. But I was about to say my favorite verses are his verses on Ain't No Thing.
Yeah.
3, 5, 7 to your forehead. There'll be more dead because I'm a pro. Care, well, Lord forgive me. I got to keep my Millie right beneath me.
So you're gonna say for ATLians, you're going Babylon.
Yeah, Babylon.
I'm going Elevators, but I'm with you.
Elevators, and Over the Woods, right at like those. Like I those three records right there. That's actually my favorite run of theirs. If I go to any of their albums, my favorite 3-song run of theirs is right there: Elevators, Over the Woods, and Babylon.
Yeah, because that not Elevators, but Over the Woods, where he's like, dang, power.
Record companies be like,
how does the verse start? Everybody want to get signed. I'm here to tell you, record companies act like pimps, getting paid off what we made, but we the ones that spot like blimps, but ain't no good yet. I tell it like it is, so I'm like a little kid, willing to get. I deserve my kids to have a mother in a little house with a dog in the backyard going woof woof. Who knows on my face when I leave with the recording booth. Poof, back in the real world where birds fly. Yeah.
No, shout out to Big Boy's verses on there too. Undercover, Over the Hills and Through the Woods. I love Big Boy's verse. Like that's what I'm saying. That's their
and the
best
last verse.
Those 3 songs, that's their best stuff together right there. That's when they're on fire together.
007. Yo, I've been looking for 007's information, man. Please email us at info@accordingtohiphop.com. We want to holler at you real quick.
We want to break bread with you about something.
Yeah. 007 says Jada's verse on Reservoir Dogs, Blackout, Made You Look remix, Banned from TV, 24 Hours to Live, Last Day. It goes on and on. So much you can get confused. Yeah.
So, on Reservoir Dogs, I think Styles has the better verse. I'm with him on Blackout. On 24 Hours to Live, I think he's somewhere in the middle on that song. He's just Kiss at that point to people. People are really starting to like hear and know who he is. The Made You Look remix verse is special. Why put you in a verse when I could put you in a coroner van?
I think that's where the whole top 5 Dead or Alive came from, too. Yeah. Jay Short, excuse me, Jay Short says Black Ice. Great verse.
Black Ice is one of my favorites, too.
All right, so Aquemini, what do you think is his best verse? Aquemini? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, that,
I love Y'all Scared, and I love Art of Storytelling, too.
No, you want to know what? I love his verse on Chunky Fire. Actually,
I do too. I also love Return of the Gangster.
Yeah, this is my story. This is my song. And to these Rudy Poos, don't try this at home. It's just a poem until you learn right from wrong. Know when to bless the situation, when to grab the chrome.
Turn this back. Oh, another stormy night in Atlanta, Georgia. Overcast, but on behalf of Outkast, I chord you. Lee invites you to an emotion-filled theater. Bring your umbrella, because young fella, it gets no weirder. We rain.
Rain.
Indubitably. Who says indubitably in a rhyme? All right, Stankonia.
It's that Bombs Over Baghdad verse, isn't it?
I think it might be Bombs Over Baghdad. I hate to be the person to pick the single, but...
No, he's on fire.
It's either...
Damn.
Yeah.
Special
it's
guy.
Either that or, like I said, I love the Humble Mumble verse, too.
I like the, Too Democratic, Republic, fuck it. We chicken nugget, we dip in your sauce like mop and bucket. Blue collar scholar, right? That's the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's pretty special. Okay, so when he's rapping on there, which is Bombs Over Baghdad, Humble Mumble, and Questions, he's special. Those are the 3 best verses, aren't they?
I think so. I like them on Red Velvet, but yeah, they don't compare to like those verses.
I don't like them on Red Velvet at all.
That's crazy. You don't like Red Velvet.
I don't like Red Velvet.
That's crazy.
No,
people love gangster shit too.
Oh yeah, gangster shit. Gangsta shit's the shit. I like Big Boy's verse better on Gangsta shit.
I do too. Nah, that I agree with you on.
OUTKASTONPGOODIE. So fresh, so clean, backwards. Think gonna get done.
Yo, Big, kill that
he
shit.
Smashed that. He smashed that.
Your girl gonna give you grief at home.
Yeah.
LP says, right where you stand. Run. I love him on Run and Right Where You Stand.
I love Run. Yeah, this is what I mean. It's like we can go through 50 or 60 verses of his. How many have we named already? About 10, 12?
I mean, Jada has done 2 different verses.
He got another one.
Yeah,
he got another verse in him.
Yeah.
He got bars, Mike. He got bars. I told you, he's the king of the 16 bars, like he says. He's not top 5 dead or alive, but as far as these 16 bars go, oh no, ain't nobody 16 bars just deep with hitters like that, where it's like, well, what's his best verse? It's like, shoot, you know that Give Me Your Ass Cap? That's from Who You With off the Funk Master Flex mixtape, Volume 2.
Crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
He got mixtape shit. Mr. Pragmatic says, so who wins the finals? And then how many games? I'm going to make a proclamation now. Boston in 6.
I'm actually going to agree with you and echo those sentiments because I think here's what's about to happen. I think Tatum's taking Clay, and I think Jaylen Brown's taking Steph Curry. Yeah. They're going to make Jordan Poole beat them, and he can't beat Boston out of it.
Okay. All right, last thing with Dre, and then we're going to go into this verses. What do you think is his best featured verse?
Okay, I mean, truthfully, we're talking best feature verse. It's the conversation of Thought Process on Soul Food or Black Ice on Still Standing, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's the conversation. Like, people talk about all this other work that he's done. No, those 2 verses, those are still, yeah.
I'm always going to say Black Ice, but I will say this. If we want to talk about current times or somewhat current times, I think International Players Anthem is very special.
It is, but
they centered that whole video around his verse.
Because he's so poetic. He's special.
Yeah. I mean, like, that video is not even the same video without that verse. Like, they're probably going to do something totally different. Talk about controlling the climate. Reggie said 3000's verse on International Players Anthem. There it is.
No.
It's a standout.
But this is what I mean is that it's a standout, but that thought process in that Black Ice verses, man, they have that context, they have that depth. Like, he's lyrically, you know, there's Romans, countrymen. There's a lot of style points and cadence and flow and alliteration and stuff going on the Players Anthem things. It's like he's bar heavy and dense and lyrically intense on thought process.
I like the yellows and greens and blues and browns and grays, the hues, the ooh beneath the lapidated wood. Ain't a thing could explain the pertain, the cocaine is a thing, it rain.
See, someone runs around and they holler about change. Then they steady move them keys like Bob James.
Oh man, winter's arrived. The temperature dive. November just died. December's alive. Yeah, that's rough, man.
Typical ride.
Both Goody Mob songs,
individuals
too.
On the way home. Yeah, man.
Both Goody Mob songs, too. You know how I feel. I feel like Goody Mob made Dre specifically step his game up. I think when they were recording the stuff on Soul Food, I'm sure he was around. He was like, yo, man, we got to take it deeper.
Weren't they the kind of younger dudes in the group, too?
Yeah, they were. They were younger than Goody.
Yeah.
I think CeeLo is like their age, but, you know, Cujo, Gipp, and Timo are older. Slightly, not like super older, but you know what I mean. 21 is way different than 19 when you're 19, you know what I'm saying? LP says 3000 killed the Walk It Out remix. I've never been a fan of that.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't love it the way other people do, but I'm not like a hater of it like you are.
I hate it.
No, you've never liked that verse.
I never liked it. No, I never liked when he comes with that whole talking type of style. I never was a fan.
You don't? Okay, so I think he was going through a phase where he was doing that a while because of what was going on with music. Like, you remember that Millionaire song?
Yeah.
Khaleesi? You don't like that verse?
I like that verse. Now that verse is dope.
That verse is one of his best verses. Where there are cheese, there are cats. Wherever there are rats, there are cats. Wherever there are cats, there are dogs. If you got the dogs, you got bitches. Bitches always out to put their paws on your riches. Yeah,
if you got bitches, you got glitches. He said if you got riches, you got glitches. I forgot, but it was fire.
Yeah. And then he starts riffing. Yeah, he's on. No, Okay, so this is why we be mad, because it's like, well, when he performs, he's clearly, like, listen to what I'm saying. He is clearly one of the greatest MCs of all time. And if he actually did work, even like at a relatively like old school album pace, we would be talking about him in a way that we talk in the South about Scarface, who is considered to be a top 5 to 10 MC, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Most people think Dre as an MC is better than Scarface. Face would probably even tell you, no, he's a better MC than I am. He's not a better artist because he can't make an album like I can, but he's a better MC. If this MC would have made some albums, I think we're talking about a clear top 5 MC is what I'm saying.
Jay Short says, a whack rapper would sound good on Black Ice. Yeah, the beat was crazy. I remember that story about, I think Gip might have told this story, and we're probably going to get into a Gip segment too. I think he said that Biggie heard Black Ice and asked him who made that beat.
Beat special.
Yeah. Shout out to Mr. DJ, by the way, who was like the 3rd member of Outkast, and he was making heat. I feel like, all right, so he made Black Ice. On Aquemini, he made Art of Storytelling 1 and 2. What else did he make on Aquemini? He's part of Earth Tone 3 production. So Earth Tone 3 was supposed to be like the new version of Organized Noise, which is, Rico, Sleepy, and Ray. Earth Tone 3 was supposed to be Big Boy, Andrè, and Mr. DJ. Mr. DJ made Don't Flex for 8Ball and MJG. I hate that we didn't hear that in the verses. He made a lot on that In My Lifetime album, even the Outkast and 8Ball and MJG collaboration. But saying all that to say, those drums that Mr. DJ was using around Stankonia time, crazy. I call those the Stankonia drums.
So I'm glad that you brought that up, and this might be a good segue, because we got to talk about 8Ball and MJG.
We gotta talk about 8Ball and MJG. Let me get to these super chats, and we're gonna really talk about this.
No, we need to dig in on 8Ball and MJG. I have some stuff that we need to say.
Marquez Davis says with the super chat, he said my favorite Andre 3000 verse is the You remix with him and Nas. That was the dope verse. I see what time you get off. She said when you get me off. I use that line all the time on the ladies. Yes. Ryan Gillum says, y'all heard about Justin Timberlake selling his catalog for $100 million? I did hear about that. Man Nan says, in due time, Everlasting, Rosa Parks, and Miss Jackson. Everlasting and In Due Time. Those are some gems.
Everlasting.
And somebody else said Everlasting too. Sitting in the bathtub, listen to the
verse on Everlasting. That's up there, Mike. I love Everlasting. I love that record. I love the first one there. Yep.
Sitting in the bathtub, listen to the Isley. Brothers and others outside my door want to despise me. Reminds me that everyone ain't cool. The world is jealous. Never could understand when my mama used to tell us don't take your food outside around your friends unless you got enough to feed the neighborhood. The play is just begin. Woo! Reggie says 3000 floated over that beat on I Can't Wait. I love that verse too. It's a great feature too.
He's got stuff everywhere. I mean, he's great on even on stuff like It's Okay with Slim Cutter Calhoun. Like he's
Kendrick got his whole style from that verse.
Right. Kendrick's whole style is that verse.
Okay.
He's so great. But listen what I'm saying. These guys were born on the same day. Like, there must be something on this day about not being a great album maker, though, because the reason Kiss isn't top 5 is because Kiss hasn't made the albums that Big and Nas and Jay and Face and Ghost have. That's the only reason Kiss isn't top 5. And guess what? The only reason Andre isn't top 5? Because we can't even get him to make a solo album.
Nah, Dre's not doing it.